Jon Jones just shared something that shocked the whole MMA world. In a recent interview, he said that he actually retired back in November, months ago, but the UFC didn't tell anyone. Instead, they asked him to stay quiet so they could decide. If they could convince him to fight again,
telling us for quite some time, I already told the UFC my plans. I'm not sure why they haven't done anything with it. But it seems as though as he continued to try and hint at what his plans were, the UFC felt like their hand was forced and they had to put it out there. Because at this point, what are we waiting for? Now, Tom Aspinall is coming to Las Vegas this week. He will be there back end of the week. He was told that a decision would be made by International Fight Week. Why I think this is ludicrous that it all went down like this was, we had waited so long for the resolution to this issue. Could they have not done something in Las Vegas in front of all the fans before the press conference, after the press conference, before the weigh-ins, after the weigh-ins, in the middle of the card on Saturday, before the fight, after the fight, presenting Tom with the belt, saying, you are the man, this is the glamour division, you are the baddest man on the planet, you're the heavyweight champion, you've done it all right, everything we've asked of you. Why not do it like that? He's literally going to be there in a couple of days. Where every media member, every fan is going to be there. You do it like this? In a throwaway, midway through a press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, in the middle of the night over there, when no one's paying attention, you do it like that? What is that?
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of difficult, like mentally, to...
Oh, yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones. Like, not the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and I'm trying my best. I'm trying. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're in office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like, I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it. I get it. It's just about the title for me. I just want the title, that's it. Does nothing else really matter. So
you're like, let me do my thing, let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon, it's no disrespect to anybody out there. You're just trying to fight. I just want to fight.
Nah, man, Jon's retired. What are we talking about, guys? This is Jon, you guys don't follow Jon on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that...
No, me too, actually. Me too, but the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career, we all know. We know Jon's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And, you know, we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again. Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So Jon's retired and it's time that we move on.
Retired Jon Jones. Just as he predicted, Tom Aspinall, over a year ago, I think, said, I will retire this man without even having to fight him. He's never going to fight me. And despite all the umming and ahhing and all the fucking pretending that he was going to actually ever get in the cage with Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones has done what we always knew he was going to do. He's tucked tail and ran. Imagine calling yourself a goat and yet behaving like such a duck. I mean, this is like back in the playground. Jon Jones has got a bike. Tom Aspinall's come over and goes, give us your bike now. What you have to do then is fight. You have to defend what your shit is and say, no, you're not going to take this. And do you know what Jon Jones did? You have it. I don't want to fight. You can have it. This is unbelievable. The greatest of all time. What a load of shit. I'm sorry. Never going to call that him the GOAT ever again. Because being the greatest of all time is not just about winning. And that's what Jon Jones doesn't understand. It's about how you conduct yourself throughout the whole of your career. Are you willing to fight the biggest challenges, the biggest tests, go in there and test yourself against everyone? And Jon Jones proved, without a shadow of a doubt, his biggest test stepped up and he bottled it well and truly. Remember this clip from like over a year ago when Jon actually met Tom in person?
Respect, man.
All the best.
Respect.
All the best.
Do a quick picture.
Sure.
Yeah?
Let's get it.
A face off.
No,
Okay. He wouldn't even face off with Tom Aspinall, let alone get in a cage with him. And after all of the fannying around and waiting for Jon Jones to man up and strap his balls on and defend his heavyweight title, because you've never really earned it. You beat a guy who wasn't even the champion. You beat Stipe. Oh my God, what a farce that fight was. That will go down as the most pointless, pathetic fight I can imagine in a world title fight.
And that's what has both fans and fighters really angry. While Jon Jones was quietly stepping away from the sport, Tom Aspinall was left waiting, training, hoping, being told by the UFC to stay ready just in case the Jones fight happened. But now, it looks like that fight may have never been possible. Aspinall's career was basically put on hold for months, just to wait for a fighter who had already made up his mind to leave. And this isn't just about Jon Jones making a personal decision. It's about how the UFC handled everything. Jon says he made it clear last year that he was done. So why didn't the UFC take away his title then? Why was the whole division stuck? Why was the interim champ, the guy who had just scored a huge win to earn the belt, left with no clear future? Tom Aspinall has now said he's done waiting. He's ready to move forward.
Defend the belt against the top guy. You can't be the guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that pissed a lot of people off.
See,
Agree or disagree?
Yeah, so I agree with you. And here's the thing, like my whole entire career, I've always defended I've always defended Jon Jones. And I'm going to say this, like, I truly believe he's one of the best to ever do it. I truly believe that. I've worked out in the same room as him. I've seen his eyes, I see how he moves. But then when I sit there and I've always wanted to do this on my channel, is basically dissect a person's career. Go to the very first time they got into the UFC and just go through the whole entire thing. And when you go through it, it's like Michael Wanzer, I love him to death. He is so honest and unbiased. And he was like, dude, like, how are you going to say Jon Jones is one of the greatest of all time when he's fucking failed a drug test?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Like, listen to yourself right now. Like, you're lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Like, he's like, you actually look stupid. Like, you and GSP and Khabib have never failed a drug test.
Yes.
Not fucking once.
Yes.
And you're sticking up for somebody who's clearly failed a drug test, right? Now, if you go, I know Shaquille O'Neal said, oh, he's one of the greatest. Shaq, let me sit you down and me run you through the whole entire career of all that stuff, right? And, you know, when you sit there and you peel back the onion and you start looking at that, it's like, you know, yeah, I always...
You didn't believe in that. That's not what you were about.
Yeah,
you
I didn't believe it.
So how can someone who did that multiple times...
It's like approval. It's almost like if you're putting him in the same category as
then
you,
you're okay
it's
with
like
it.
you're approving and
Yes.
you're condoning what he did.
But the damage is already done. Tom's momentum was stopped. His chance to build a legacy was delayed, and all for what? A fight that Jon Jones likely knew he was never going to take. Fans feel betrayed. Many are saying this was one of the worst managed situations in recent UFC history. Jones, once called the GOAT, is now being criticized for how he walked away, quietly, while letting the UFC keep up the illusion that he was still coming back. The UFC is also being called out, not for doing what's best for the sport, but for protecting their golden boy, instead of respecting the process and the fighters who were ready to compete and push the division forward. Even now, Jones is trying to defend his choice. He says he felt at peace with stepping away, that he didn't want to risk his health or his legacy by fighting a new lion like Aspinall. But a lot of people think that if he really respected the sport and his fellow fighters, he should have clearly announced his retirement right away so the division could move forward openly and fairly.
Jon accepted the fight, went to Thailand, came back, didn't want the fight. What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. You know, we were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate that there's a lot of reports about figures he was offered? Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
I'll just come out and ask you. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones, I said it a million times, I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, I think the reality is whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know. You'd have to ask him that. But, he's 38 years old, and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them? And it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. We had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see. And that's what we try to do. But the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, my philosophy on that, you should do it.
Did you know about the stuff that came out of Albuquerque last night?
I saw it today. When I saw it today, I said, oh, everybody's going to think this is why he retired. Maybe that is why he retired. Who the hell knows, man? But, I don't know. These are all questions you got to ask him. We had the fight done. You saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen. And then...
Where does that leave us now? Tom Aspinall is finally free to reign as the UFC heavyweight champion. But what should have been a smooth and respectful passing of the torch